And welcome to the On a Family Based podcast. My name is Jake.
And I'm Dallas.
And we are the only two here today, but here on episode 25, let's just get this out the way really quick. Every episode we have our who's our favorite number 20 something or whatever episode number we're on. Ben, since he won't be here, he entered in two names, which kind of becomes typical of Ben. Ben picked Frank Thomas's favorite number 25 or Jim Tillman. Either way, both Sox players, so I'm not liking that one. My favorite, I'll just say it real quick, is at one time in his career, Sammy Sosa was 25.
Whoa.
So I'll just stick with that. He
When did
wasn't
he?
25. He was early in his career, but he was 25 for at least a couple of years. So I'll go with that. I know it's not his whole career, but
Hey,
I mean,
counts
it's not bad. It's not bad for a storage user. So,
no.
do you have anyone offhand?
I would have gone with Tome or
You
Frank
can.
Thomas, but I won't do that.
I mean, you definitely can.
What's up with that? So you got didn't Bonds wear 25?
Yeah, when he was in Pittsburgh.
McGuire wore 25. Palmeiro wore 25.
Yeah.
What's up with these juicers wearing 25 is what I need to know.
I don't know.
I guess I'd have to go with Tome then.
Right,
Frank Thomas.
Not bad.
Frank Thomas.
All right.
That dude was just big. I'm going with one. Frank Thomas. The Hurt.
All right. Yeah. I mean, he's not a bad pick. All right. So got that kind of cleared out. So let's move. If you want to, well, here. What was something you did this past week? What was one thing that you did that is in your memory?
Watched the Avalanche play the Oilers Saturday. They're playing now. Last I saw, they were up 1-0.
Yeah.
I watched The Boys on Amazon Prime. Very adult show. So if you have children,
do you like that show?
I do. Yeah. This season was kind of different so far, but yeah, like I said, it's very much like targeted at a mature audience. Wouldn't let the youngsters watch it, but it's just a different take of what superheroes could be if they weren't so much heroes, but just like average people with like, defaults and stuff like that.
With lasers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
It's a neat show.
Yeah. So again, last episode, I mentioned that we binge watched Stranger Things.
Yeah.
We're watching it again.
Nice. What, all of them?
Well, no, season 4.
Oh, okay. I was like, dang.
I mean,
that's crazy.
I know. I mean, we definitely could. My wife Ellie loves the show, so she would definitely not be opposed.
That's a good one.
I don't know if we have enough time. So either way, so episodes are long enough. So
never enough time in the day.
Yeah. So why don't we actually just hit first base real quick from there? And why don't we have our Chicago Cubs focus time on first base? Now, when we recorded last week, the Cubs had played a doubleheader. So they lost both those games against Brewers, but then they ended up splitting the series by winning on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then they had a 5-game series because they had a game to make up. And then they went 2-3 against the Cardinals. So they ended up 4-5, 9 games in 7 days. But then, if you actually think about it, the series before that they played that weekend. So I think they played 12 games in 10 days or something.
I think it was
I
that.
mean, I mean that's like it. I'm gonna guess they're pretty tired.
Yeah. Yeah. A
So
breather would probably be good. They've been doing a lot of doubleheaders lately.
yeah. I mean, every team in the Midwest, there's a rain out, like tons of rain outs. So they have to make them up. So you end up in a bunch of doubleheaders. I just wouldn't think you'd put two in the same week.
Yeah,
You know,
makes for a long one. Yeah.
sounds dumb. So, but from those games, what's one thing that stuck out, like a moment, a player, a game, or a part of the game?
I think,
So,
oh, yeah.
yeah, go ahead. No, you go.
Christopher Morel going 5 for 9 against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
One of those doubleheaders. It's pretty outstanding. Which kind of, I don't know, like of the rookies, I'd say I'm most interested in his capabilities or his potential because he's only 22. And
Right.
I mean, he was only brought up not even a month ago, but
Yeah.
he's already got like 80-ish plate appearances, and he's batting almost 300. So I
Yeah.
mean, he's looking pretty. And I think it was every 10 or 11 at bats, he's getting only one strikeout every 11 at bats, something like that, or 11 or 12, maybe 10. It's crazy.
You know, I'm gonna say, just to piggyback off you for a second, Christopher Morel, who actually maybe we'll talk about for longer, but he's only played in 20 games so far in his career, but he's gotten on base in each of those 20 games. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but I mean, you have games where you just you don't get on base,
Right.
whether that's a walk or a hit or whatever. But to start your career, that's the longest in Cubs history.
Oh,
To
wow.
start your career, but the person who had the record for the Cubs before is Wilson Contreras.
Oh, okay.
He started off, I think it was 19 games to start his career. So 20. So that bad. I think, to me, that's almost like that's the craziest stat of his.
Yeah, it is.
Um
And it's cool that he's
but
still playing, or Contreras is still playing. Like he's still in the dugout
right.
to like kind of coach him through like just new situations, because it wasn't super long ago that Contreras was in the same spot.
Yeah. Actually, to me, he's a part of what's the most memorable part of last week for the Cubs, and it was, I think, no, it was against the well, yeah, but it was against the Brewers. Christopher Morel was up in the, I think it was, yeah, the ninth inning, tie game against the Brewers, and there's a shot. It's like this perfect like shot from a cameraman. Christopher Morel is stepping up to plate, and he looks behind him, and Contreras is behind him.
Mhm.
And Contreras is, and again, if you're watching on YouTube, you could probably see it, but Contreras is standing behind him, and he goes like this. He goes, and he
Nice.
just reminded him to breathe,
Right.
and then he does it by breathing, and then he hits a walk-off sac fly.
Awesome.
So there's this moment of two players who are connected and obviously are hopefully going to be mainstays on the team, and they're supporting each other, and
Hmm.
Contreras having this veteran role, to me, was a really cool moment.
For sure.
They went 4-5, so I'm looking for moments, to me,
Some
moments
positive.
and players. Yeah. So that moment of Contreras kind of cooling down Morel, I thought was a really cool moment.
That is
But
that's a good shot too, I bet.
Yeah, it's you know what? If I can find it, I'll post it to our Instagram. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it down at the bottom. The handle of Family Basic Pod. I'll put it the clip of Contreras and Morel. So you know what? I wanted to not so much focus on each and every game so much. I want to focus on the young players for the Cubs. Now, even if you're not a Cubs fan, I think you're kind of aware that the Cubs are kind of in between a rebuilding stage, and they seem like they're going for it in some ways by signing Stroman and Jan Gomes and Sia. They seem like they're going for it, but they have a lot of young players.
Mm.
So I just want to list off the at least notable rookies so far. So again, like we mentioned, Christopher Morel, and then the recent additions of Matt Swarmer. He's a starting pitcher. He's pitched two games so far. A guy who pitched in the second game of the Saturday doubleheader. His name is Caleb Killian. They actually optioned him down to AAA after a start. That's not because he did badly. He actually did pretty well for your first start. I think he had 6 strikeouts in 5 innings. He's even struck out Yadier Molina twice.
Okay.
Point being is he's a rookie or potential call up that is important for the Cubs. And then, of course, you have Seiya Suzuki.
Right, the rookie.
And again, a rookie. He's 27. I mean, Matt Swarmer is 28. So I mean, either way.
Fair enough.
So yeah, so I guess a rookie either way. You had Wisdom last year. He was a rookie at 29. And Schwindel was a rookie at 29 or 30. So either way. Sales come back from the IL this week, Wednesday or Thursday. He'll probably come back for the Yankee series in New York. So that should be fun.
That'd be good.
But the other young players, I think we forget some of these young players just because in some ways they've been in the league or they've been a part of huge trades. So Nico Horner is 25 years old. It seems like he's 30 because he's been in the league for, I think this is his 5th year. Also Nick Madrigal, who the Cubs traded for last year. He was hurt last year on the White Sox.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I actually had a joke, but you got it. That was it. So, so Nick Madrigal is not playing well, but he is 25 as well. Justin Steele, who is not playing well. It's a theme, the Cubs.
Yeah.
And then actually someone who is playing well is Keegan Thompson. I don't know if he's considered a rookie. That's why I didn't put him there. But this is, I think, his first full year. But he's 6-0, so he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's noteworthy.
Yeah, for sure. So to me, we talked about Christopher Morel, but of the rookies, so that's Morel, Swarmer. I know Killian got option down to AAA, but maybe Morel, Swarmer, and Sia. Which of those three are you probably most looking forward to plugging into the Cubs long term?
Still, I mean, Morel. I mean, he's a middle infielder. I feel like finding a steady second baseman second base is kind of an undervalued position, but super important, especially like when you have somebody noteworthy, like people know that, you have a great second baseman, you want to lock that down. So I think that would be, I mean, if he keeps at this rate, he's going to hit about, give or take, 150 RBIs in the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's only that would be the 4th highest, I think, in history, following like DiMaggio and a couple other folks. But like just to be on a list like that high with like Joe DiMaggio, it's a pretty big deal, especially like in your rookie season. I mean, not to say that. I mean, of course, like if he stays healthy and like he'd have to continue to play out of his mind. But I think it's cool. He's got speed. He's got somewhere between 5 and 10 stolen bases. And he's gotten that in 20 games. So, I mean, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Hold him down. I'd like to see more from Seiya. I mean, I'm still hopeful for him. Just, a little bit of injury, maybe some acclimation into the MLB. So, I mean, he's not doing as spectacularly as I'm sure we were hyped for him to be. But also, first season in the States, so, I mean, maybe once his finger heals, hopefully he'll, get back on track.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with Seiya for one reason is that he is a rookie. As you kind of joked, he's a rookie, but he's not. So in some ways, he has experience with maybe not struggling to the degree he has, but he has experience making adjustments. And I feel like in some ways he's not going to hit 247 this year. He's going to raise it at least a little bit. Well,
I hope. I'd be happy with 290. That sounds great.
I mean, maybe for the Cubs, it'd be best on the team. So
yeah, at the end of the season, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, so I think on to kind of jump on Morel for a second, just on your point, is that Morel is not solely a second baseman. He also played shortstop in the game. He also plays center from multiple games.
It's fantastic.
So
sounds like a utility player.
But he was up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who has that talent to do that, I think it is great. Another thing I point out about Morel is if you know anything about his story. So he's from the DR. He's drafted by the Cubs when he was 16. When he was 16, I don't know if you heard the story or not.
He beat up Albert Pujols.
No, he did not.
In the DR. Caught him.
Pujols is a very large man.
He is a very large man. Hey, man.
No,
it's not about the size, right? It's the motion in the ocean. Something like that.
I don't think that's the phrase.
I think that's the same.
No. I think the story for Morel is that when he was 16, he was in the lunchroom or cafeteria or wherever eating, and the team bus was about to take off. So he instinctively jumped up and ran out. The problem with what happened was he ran out, but he got clipped by the bus, and it cut up his forearm real bad.
Wow!
It was almost almost took him out of baseball, and it took him 6-7 years to really develop and turn into a dependable long-term player potentially. Wow. So he went from at 16 having these hopes and dreams almost taken away, and now he's on the team making a difference. That's someone you root for. I don't know if I'm most excited for him yet.
I want to know what kind of surgery he had on his forearm after he got into this accident. Maybe it wasn't so much an accident if he got a rubber band put in there. I think it would be good. I think we should touch one day. You, me, Dan, maybe. He'll be a potential. And Ben need to discuss Tommy Jones. Tommy Johns. We need to figure out if this is Tommy Jones. We need to figure out if
Tommy Jones is an actor.
Yeah, I was like, that's not right. We need to figure out if this is okay. If pitcher's getting this operation done, is
Yeah, I mean, everyone's
effective
getting that.
because I mean you could consider it. One could argue performance enhancing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation for another day.
We'll
sure.
touch on that another time.
This was not Tom John. If you see a scar, it's pretty gnarly on
Or
his
maybe it's a super
forearm.
subsect of Tommy John. You got
Yeah,
a new.
that's it.
That's what I'm saying. What if he went like rookie of the, what's the rookie, whatever that Cubs movie is from like way back in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, rookie of the year.
Yeah, rookie of the year. What if he got something like that done with his forearm? You can't trust people nowadays. Can't trust.
This conspiracy theory is very weird.
I'm gonna take the tin hat off.
Yeah.
That's
So So the rookies are one thing, but then when you have the other young players who are not rookies, I am most excited for Nico Horner has developed into a potential long-term shortstop. I don't think he's going to be the Cubs shortstop long-term because there are stories coming out now that are saying the Cubs will get a top of the line free agent shortstop at the end of the year. And that would mean Nico Horner would either move to second base or potentially trade him. I don't think he's long term, but I'm most excited for him. He's hitting above 290.
Hey.
He's playing out. He has a really good glove up the middle, but he's improved his throwing strength. So I think overall, Nico Horner, to me, he doesn't have the power. He won't have the RBIs. He won't have that kind of stuff. But I feel like he's one of those players that you can rely on. And again, he's been in the league for, I think, this like 4th or 5th year. So I like Nico Horner. And he's 25. I mean, that's still really, really young.
He's
so
young.
I like him.
Let's see. Yeah, he has. He's been up for a good couple of years, hasn't
he? Yeah.
He
has been injury prone, so that's kind of one thing. But he's been up for a while.
I mean, I've only seen like a couple plays that he's made on the highlight reels and stuff, and it's nothing like super spectacular, but made some good plays so far this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't want you to move Morel, so keep him at second. And if you're gonna get a fancy shortstop, I guess Nico's gonna have to find another position on my team.
Or Morel could just stay in center.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't know why. It's not like we have another great center fielder out there.
I was thinking we could put Benny out there.
I don't know if Ben's.
I think he's looking at trying out. He's been to Wrigley a couple times this year.
That's true.
Just saying.
He's
not here to say no.
That's true. He did. He said it was to watch the game, but again, who can we trust nowadays?
Well, but in all seriousness, do you not like Happ in center?
He moved over to left field and he's doing pretty well out there.
No.
So, I mean, the Cubs outfield is, if Seattle turns it around and right, and you have Happ and left. If you put Morel in center, I feel like that's pretty good outfield. It's decent.
What's Hayward been up to lately?
Yeah, he was injured for a while, but he's. I don't mean for this to come off in a bad way, but to be honest,
but it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The deal the Cubs signed from. I feel like if you asked Hayward, the deal the Cubs signed him to, the crazy amount of money they gave to him, has only been worth it as a leadership role. His defense is always going to be good, but his offense is, it's below average at best.
Hasn't that always been his case, though?
No.
You think he's been like the number one or top 3 producers in the Cubs lineup ever. I feel like he's a solid number 6 or 7.
Well, that's the point, is that when the Cubs signed him, they expected him to produce offense, because when he was with Atlanta and then St. Louis, he was at least a decent, if not top, for offensive producer. He was a threat. And then I don't know what it was. I mean, people, sadly, that may just be it.
That's just how it be sometimes, man.
Oh yeah,
players come to the Cubs and forget how to play ball.
Yeah, a little bit. But no, I mean, Hayward is one of those guys that came to the Cubs and just he just is always altering something in his swing. He's always changing, trying to figure. He's hitting under 220 again this year on the games he's played, but again, you're just waiting for that contract to run up. That's all.
How much longer is on
that? I'll look that up. But I will say this: he is a great leader. He is the guy who came in the 2016 World Series and gave that speech that kind of galvanized the team and kind of led them to win that game.
Nice.
But again, outside of that, he's not doing much else. Let me see. So his contract is up. Not this year. He has this year and a full year next year.
Okay. Just pulling in $20 million a year, isn't he?
He signed no. He signed 8 years for $184 million.
That's over $20 million a year.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That dude's throwing it in.
My stupid brain thought that was like 118, but
bro,
no,
I'm just a genius at math, dude. Don't worry. You're good.
That's clear.
I'm a statistical genius.
Yeah. So I'm looking. This will sound bad. I'm looking forward to Hayward leaving, so that we don't have to ask about him being in the lineup.
Sure. Yeah. Dude's batting 200. Like,
I mean, I like that guy. I like the guy. He's a great guy. Off the field, he's a great leader. But man, I just when he comes up to the plate, I want to turn off the TV. It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
But either way, so let's actually, in a very nice transition, the Cubs play 2 games this week. So Tuesday, Wednesday. So when this airs, the Cubs will have played 1 game against Baltimore, but they'll have the second game the day this airs, so Wednesday. But then, so they have the 2-game series in Baltimore, and then they have a 3-game set in New York against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. So they went from 9 games in the week to they'll only have 5 games. But
good work week.
They're going against the Orioles, who are kind of overproducing, and then you have the arguably best team in the league, Yankees.
The Yankees,
we always do this, but what is your guess on those 5 games? What do you think the Cubs go?
2-3.
Man, I mean,
man, yeah.
I really want to say it. Yeah, and you know what? For this reason, I'll say the Cubs will go 2-3. The Cubs are one of the best teams in the league, scoring early. Like in the first inning, they score a ton of runs for whatever reason, but they don't score a lot late in the game. But the Orioles have great bullpen, but not great starting staff. So I think if the Cubs can find a way to score a lot early, get their starters, I think they'll win it You know what? We will say this for the Cubs though. They'll probably split one series and then lose the other. So I think they split against the Orioles and then they win one game somehow against the Yankees. I don't know how, but I think they might.
Wow, that's really commendable. Your optimism. Normally, I'm the
Man,
optimist, but man, that is
man, I mean, I would I would not be surprised if they lose all five. But
yikes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
hope.
All right,
That's optimistic for me.
we'll keep our fingers
So,
crossed.
so let's actually move to second base, which second base we always do. What's a story of the week that kind of stands out? An article from MLB.com came out talking about 9 stories that were under the radar. So I thought we'd each pick a story that we found more interesting amongst that list. Um, Now, again, let me just say this beforehand. One of those 9 stories is not really the story that we would talk about right now, and that is the Pride Night controversy with the Tampa Bay Rays. So, if that was amongst those stories, or honestly, if we had more time, or if we were more prepared, we would talk about it. But I would say that we won't talk about it right now, but we will talk about it either in a special episode or maybe in a future episode for sure. By the end of June, we'll definitely find a time for that. So, amongst those 9 stories that they did list, Dallas, what is one story that stuck out to you that you and I, but also people listening, watching, should watch for in baseball?
I don't know how to say this guy's name. Tariq Skubal.
Yeah,
Help. Being the early Cy Young candidate. I know it's early in the season, but the guy's only 25 years old.
yeah,
And again, or not even again, but to touch back on like one of the first couple episodes, I'm not 100%. I know what WAR is, but like the number 2.2, couldn't tell
yeah,
you what it means. But I imagine it's good because they talked about it, and I know having a
yeah.
higher WAR is better than having a lower one. Like instead
Sure.
of my negative 0.4, this guy has a 2.2, so good on him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, and I don't know. It's just exciting to see the Tigers pitcher do well because there's anybody that could shit on the White Sox. You're good on my book.
Yeah. Yeah, the 25-year-old for Detroit. I mean, I think we just don't watch him because he's playing for Detroit. You know, I mean, like, do we ever see like the Marlins, even though they have a Cy Young winner in Sandy Alcantara, like, or Alcantara? People talk about that all the time. So Sandy.
Mhm.
So people don't mention teams you don't watch very much or don't get a lot of national attention. Um, so yeah, for sure. I mean, War, to the best of my knowledge, and again, I'm not very smart in this, but War is pretty much like if you were to compare him to another average player, he would be worth 2.2 more wins at the end of the year because of his production.
Mm, got
So
it.
amongst the average player, he adds a value of 2 wins to your team.
Mm.
So again, how do you figure that? People debate that, but the fact it's over, I mean, I think Contreras the Cubs is a little over 2, might be 2.2.
Wow, look at
So
you.
if you have a 2.2 as a pitcher, you're doing pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's definitely under the radar. You know what? For me, actually, I have to admit, when I saw this earlier this year, I couldn't believe it. So my under the radar story is the Marlins and the Diamondbacks back in 2019 had a 1-for-1, like one player for one player trade, and they traded the Marlins traded Zach. I always I say his name
Zach
wrong.
Efron.
Z- I don't think it was Efron. I don't think so. I think it's Zach Gallen, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But Zach Gallen for Jazz Chisholm Jr. They traded 1-for-1, and both of those players are having great years. Zach is a possible Cy Young winner. He's having a great year. I mean, the whole Diamondbacks pitching staff is having a great time. A new pitching coach, so they're top 3 in baseball for ERA. It's
Wow.
crazy,
That's
crazy.
awesome.
But and Zach is producing quite a bit of that momentum. And Jazz Chisholm, I think more people would be familiar with. He is a more eccentric player for the Marlins now. He can hit for power, hits for average, gets on base, plays a great defensive second base, and he has a lot of flair. And if you look up a picture of Jazz Chisholm Jr. right now, he has bright blue hair,
That's
and
what's up.
he always wears a thick gold chain. And whenever he hits a home run, he does a Euro step as he hits home plate. So
Love that.
those two players are 1-for-1 trade. I saw that earlier this year, and I was like, usually you get like one
You
guy,
get one or the other.
yeah, one guy's great and one guy's terrible. But to have two people, one possible Cy Young, one possible MVP, I mean that's an under the radar story that I think we need to. I mean, they're not teams that are above 500, so I think we miss that a lot. But I think that's a really cool story.
Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, that's just neat. Both of them end up doing fantastic things for themselves.
I mean, if one of them were on the Cubs, they'd be terrible. So,
yeah, would have forgotten how to play.
I mean, I'm glad they got their chance and they're doing well. So,
yeah, definitely.
So you know what? That's actually a quick second base. Usually second base we have more conversation about the actual story. So again, the future episode or segment, we'll talk about Pride Night controversy for the Rays. But for now, we'll just have second base be this quick story that maybe you should go and we should go pay attention to more. So let's actually just hit third base. And our third base is always take your pick. So I usually give a kind of a quick blurb about something that's happening right now in baseball. Now to say, take your pick, either this or this. And we talk about it from there. So pretty easy. So our first take your pick is something happened on Saturday night. So I thought this kind of called back to something we've been talking about for a while, and that's position players pitching.
Right.
So Saturday night, the Dodgers tried to use a position player to pitch in the ninth inning. Now, usually that's fine, but they were only down 5 runs. So, very unlike umpires, but the umpire stepped in and stopped it.
Yeah, that's weird.
So we haven't. I don't. Have you seen that before?
I mean, I'm not the most proficient in the MLB rule book, but I never But this is kind of becoming a thing, like a trend. So it's not like it's happened like in 2006. You know, it's like this is a newer thing. So maybe like they just actually read up on it and they're like, hey, we're gonna cut this. We're gonna knock it off. You know, like, we don't like this anymore.
I do wonder if it's an actual rule that no one ever paid attention to, or honestly, they just made it up.
Or the guy just didn't want to see it. He's like, no. Get back out there.
But so that's not the story. So the story is that the umpires announced to the crowd the reason why they were not allowed to do that. They were not allowed to do that because apparently before the ninth inning, so I guess before extra innings, your team has to be down at least 6 runs before you do that. So there's kind of an arbitrary run differential. So they were only down 5 runs, so they can't do that apparently. So I want to ask you, go ahead.
Let me ask you though, have you seen teams that were up by an extravagant amount of runs put in position players?
I mean, not to my knowledge.
Okay, I guess that would just be like, putting salt in the wound. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly done by teams that are just losing pretty bad.
sure,
And their team is trying to not use more bullpen, more of their bullpen
they're
and
actual pitchers.
potentially, save their arms.
I think we already
So-
know where Ben's going to go on this one.
So I want to ask you,
But I'm going to go.
because you're on the show. So is
That's right.
this good? Is this rule good or is this stupid?
I mean, I don't think that's legit, man. Like, because what if what if in the crazy scenario where you actually needed a position player to come in and pitch and you're not down by 6? Just weirdly enough, I don't know, say somebody had a very bad case of COVID, lied about it, coughed in everyone's face, and they were symptomatic within a minute. So it's just like, it's crazy. Like, what if you actually needed somebody to do it? But I mean, on the other hand, if they don't care about potentially further losing the game, like if they think that's their best bet, then they should be able to do it. Like, this is their team. Do it. So I don't think I think it's a silly rule, is what I'm saying. It's kind of dumb. Like if you're willing to not put in one of your better arms, like a pitcher, then that's on you. And you guys lose because you practically gave up already.
Yeah, that's it. The context of the story is weird because I'm like, it's 5 runs.
Yeah.
You're the Dodgers. You can score 5 runs.
Mm-hmm. They sure could.
If the Cubs were down 5 in the 9th, the other day, so on Sunday night, the Cubs were losing. They went to extra innings, and the Cardinals went up 7-3. In the 10th inning, they scored 4 runs. Even then, I was like, I mean, the Cubs could score 4.
Could, or probably won't.
But the point is, I was like, it's the Cubs. The Cubs could possibly score 4. If you're the Dodgers, you could score 5 runs in 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So to me, I'm the context. It's like, I know Dave Roberts does a lot of this kind of stuff, the coach, but I'm just like, take it easy a little bit. But
Right.
You could come back, but I'm going to say this, good or bad. I'm going to say, or good or stupid. I'm going to say it's stupid for this reason. I know I don't like position players pitching. The trend of position players getting in there is to me just bad for baseball. It's not fun anymore. It used to be fun when it was weird and rare. It's happening so much that it's just bad. Whatever. I've just gotten to the point
the
where
man
I'm
is
like,
passionate.
I hate it. I hate seeing guys go out
Stay
there
in your lane.
They throw 38 miles an hour.
It's amazing. It gives the rest of us hope, Jake.
But no, what I'm saying is, if you really don't care that much, have one player on your roster who's a really good EFIS pitcher who can just toss the ball up there. Like, just do that. Don't make it like this. Oh, we're just having fun. Your first baseman can just lob the ball.
You're bringing fun to baseball. All right.
And you know what? My hypocritical self will admit that last year, when Rizzo was still on the Cubs, he pitched against the Braves and struck out Freddie Freeman when he was not there, the Braves, and I loved it.
Right, of course he did. because it's Rizzo on the Cubs.
You know what? Rizzo I still like Rizzo for the most part, so I won't go on it. I just think it's stupid to try to sorry about that. To put an arbitrary to make a rule on an arbitrary run differential. If we're gonna do that, just make it a 6-run ninth inning lead.
I think that's
just give up.
It's just a weird rule. Instead of playing the whole ninth, just done. We're only doing 8 today.
Well, if you're giving up at 6 runs,
right,
just give up.
Right. That is. I think that's such a weird rule. I don't think that's.
Yeah.
Just take it away. Take it away. Either make it illegal to have position players pitch, or just take that 6-run limit rule away. Like, it's silly.
I don't know, but I guess
I'm an absolutist on that.
You know, in some ways, it's like because it's getting so stupid out there. You're like, if you want to make this stupid, we can make a stupid rule.
Dude,
so,
I would pay the Cubs $50 to let me pitch when they were down that bad. I will give them $50 USD.
That's all right. That's a steal.
That's what I'm thinking. They're doing great. They have a great deal.
As someone who makes like no money a month,
I think I'm giving them a great deal.
I mean, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. One way.
I mean, are you saying you would shell out more than $50 to pitch?
I would.
That's all right. You know what? We're not.
I mean,
we're not asking you anymore.
I don't think I can throw the ball 60 feet.
I believe in you. You can't be going in there with that kind of attitude, because then you might not.
All right. You know what? Let's move from not pitchers, you and me, to an actual pitcher for our next taker pick.
Yes. So I'm going to go with yes.
An actual pitcher.
I already know.
Kumar Rocker. So we mentioned him very early on in the podcast, in like episode 1 or 2 or something like that. So Kumar Rocker he played for Vanderbilt in 2020 and 2021. He was in his last year at Vanderbilt. He led the NCAA in wins and strikeouts. He was drafted. He was the number 1 prospect overall. He got drafted 10th by the Mets, but the Mets, he ended up not signing with the Mets because they came back with images of his throwing shoulder and throwing elbow that they had some concerns about, so they didn't want to sign him to the deal he wanted.
Right.
So Kumar Rocker has not really thrown professionally at all since 2000, so almost a year, if not, almost a full year, calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
Kumar Rocker threw his first professional game, and it was in the Frontier League, which is not a minor league or AAA. Can't
independent league, right?
It's not the independent league. You know, I kind of thought it was. It's something called the Frontier League.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was.
Yeah, whatever. It's baseball.
It's
or what?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he threw first time. And apparently, the concerns about his throwing, especially his fastball, he apparently hit the radar gun at 95, sometimes 97 miles an hour, and then he even touched 99 once or twice. And he had 6 strikeouts in his first return. The thing that kind of bury under all that is that he gave up 3 runs, and one of those was a home run. So, I mean, not important though. The question is this: is that if let's say you're GM. I mean, last time you were a pitcher, so let's just say you're GM. Okay, so you're a GM, and Kumar Rocker, he wants to be in the draft
Right.
in July. So he wants to re-enter the draft in July. Do you, as a GM, or even as a fan, do you want Kumar Rocker in your minor leagues and potentially work his way up, or would you be hesitant? Would you draft him or pass on him?
I'll draft him. Yep, 100%.
Why?
Because the man went to Vanderbilt, and we stick to our own. All right.
Blech.
No, but in honesty, I mean, why not? I sign him, start him in double A, see how he does. If you like a couple outings, bump him up and just have him prove himself. Why not? I mean, you don't need to start him, at the highest tier. You don't need to bring him up to, your major league team.
Right.
But you could at least have him in your system. I mean, yeah, he failed his physical for the Mets, and of course, without a throwing arm, what are you going to do? So, just I'd sign him, keep him there, make him produce for you, see what he could do.
I'm gonna go opposite on that. I'm gonna say if I was as a Cubs fan, sure, the possibility of him having a great career, I'm like, just try it out. But if he wants to be right now, he's the 39th ranked prospect. Still,
not bad.
But if you're gonna draft him in top 40, I don't know if, to me, I'd pass. I would draft him later on. I would not invest the money up front for someone like that. I would wait a couple rounds.
Okay, a couple rounds. I was gonna say the Cubs could use a good relief pitcher. What if you moved him from starter to I don't know, mid relief? Man's clocking in the high 90s. He says changeup's 88, 89.
Everyone is.
Not everyone.
Yeah, I mean, a large majority of pitchers coming out. I mean, again, I'm not.
But you're right. There are
the Cubs could definitely use pitching, as we've seen. But he's not a potential major league roster, filling your roster. He's on it. He's not going to be ready for at least a couple years. So the amount of money he's going to want up front for being a top draft pick, and the amount of
I guess it just depends how much he's trying to get then. I mean, because you have to be realistic. If that's then it just comes down to the question mark of his throwing arm. So,
yeah, I mean, kind of important.
Yeah, pretty kind of.
So I'd say, to me, I'd pass. But if he's there in the even the third, fourth round, I'd take him. But in the first or second round, I'm like, I don't know.
All right. Third round.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad.
So the third tier pick is coming off the news of the Philadelphia Phillies firing their head coach, Joe Girardi. I mean, that's the headline. So, yes, I'll ask. Well, I'll answer first, but then I'll give you a shot out of this.
All right.
So, did Joe Girardi deserve to be fired, or was it a little premature, or not a little? Was it just too early? And I would answer that as he deserved to be fired for one reason. This would be his third full season in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
They have not made the playoffs in his first two seasons. In his third season, he has the fourth highest payroll, and at the time they were 8 games under 500.
Yeah.
I'd say that's bad.
It's not a good thing. spending all that money. But they also got, I mean, they don't have a terrible roster for all that money either. Like, it's really good, and you're still not producing wins. And if they don't make the postseason, to be 3 years in a row with having good hitters, they had a Cy Young candidate.
I mean, they have a couple that should be good pitchers. Wheeler and Nola could be really good too.
So it's just he still is. I mean, you have a losing record, like with your total tenure there. I mean, so I guess it's not a surprise. And yeah, I mean, to be expected then.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of people in response were like, "This is way too early," and I'm like,
"Well, when's the right time? After 5 years of losing, like."
You know, everyone, or I would say some people would say, you don't do it in the middle of the year.
Well, it's not the All-Star break yet, so
it's like, wait, do you want to possibly waste the year? If his decisions are playing a negative role, do you want to wait, or do you want to possibly get in front?
You still have a shot. Because we're a month and a half out till the break, and no, because if you get a new manager in there right now, they'll have a little bit of time to warm up with the roster, like with the dugout, with guys everywhere, and hopefully get some good momentum going and some what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, camaraderie is kind of the word I'm looking for, but get a good flow with the team. And then you still have the rest of the season. You still have half the season to go. So, I mean, you can actually make a run at the postseason with that kind of time. So, like, if you keep sitting and waiting on it, then you just, like you said, like, you're just wasting time. It just makes sense.
I would say this is a fair point. Their roster, as you said, is good.
Yes.
They're not playing well. And how much can you really attribute to coaching, and how much can you be like, can guys just hit the ball, or can you like pitch a little better? Like,
right.
And their defense is historically terrible. It's one of the worst ever. How much of that is coaching? I'm not saying that you don't have some influence, but I'm like, I mean, he can't be out there closing their gloves and catching the ball.
Yeah, you're right. But I think it's been pointed out a good number of times that baseball is a thinking man's game. So I mean, I really think that like players' mentality has a lot to do with their performance. So I mean, if it is the manager throwing off the team chemistry and dynamic, then that could be, maybe that is the change that they needed. And, you get somebody in there that will mesh everybody like well together. That could be all the difference,
Yeah, I mean, that's a very hard division. I mean, the Mets, the Braves, I mean, even the Marlins are decent enough. So it's a very hard division, to say the least.
It's not the NL Central.
And very quick, I just want to mention this. I didn't have this on the outline, so I'll just ask you out on this. I don't know if you know this. The LA Angels right now, as of taping on Monday night, the Angels are in the middle of an 11-game losing streak.
Whoa, wow.
Very bad.
Wow.
Very bad. That's not the question. That's undeniable. That's very bad. So right now, the way it stands, let me just pull up these. I want to get this for sure. So the standings right now for the Angels are not looking great, because losing 11 in a row is never going to be good for where you're sitting.
Yeah.
So the good thing for the Angels is that still, with an 11-game losing streak, they are still second place in their division.
Dude, how ridiculous is that? They just dipped under 500.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, they were right now as Monday night. They're one game under 500, so they were 10 games over 500 before this. So they were playing well. So I think the 11 games, I think undeniably is going to affect them overall. But I would ask you this one, take your pick on this. Are they are the Angels able to come back and possibly win a wild card or even their division? Or is this 11 games a sign of things to come?
I don't think this is gonna. I think this is a temporary, just really odd spell. I think they're gonna be just fine. Winning the West. I don't know about that. Maybe I think they'd have a better shot at the wild card, because they're 8.5 games back now. Maybe about to be 9.
Yeah,
or maybe not. Mariners are up on the Astros, so what's up? Let's go! Come on, Mariners.
So the Mariners are 6 games under. So
so he's still under the Angels, but I don't know. I'd put them at a wild card contender for sure right now at this point, unless the Astros just start sucking and they have a terrible streak like the Angels just did. They just pulled ahead.
Yeah. So you know what? If that's the question, I'm gonna say I think they are still contenders. The problem is they're a wild card contender. They're like the last contender. They're as of right now, they're close with Boston, who has started off the year terrible, but now they're 500. So I'm gonna say they're a contender. But man, you've gotta snap this. 11 games, that's horrible. So
gotta snap out of that. Yeah.
So you know what? Let's go back. So last week we talked about nationally televised games. There are a bunch always in the week. So after this airs on Wednesday, there are a bunch of games that are going to be nationally televised. So whoever's listening, you can watch any of these games. So there's 8 games from Wednesday to Sunday. Of those games, is there a game that you think we should watch, people listening, watching should watch?
I think people should watch Cubs Yankees. Admittedly so, biased, but I don't know. It'll be fun. It's always cool seeing the Yankees and the Cubs step on the field at the same time. So that's what I'll be watching.
I'm not going to be biased, but I'm going to say another Saturday night game, the Dodgers and Giants, both great teams.
Better game to watch for sure.
And they're going to be playing in San Francisco. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. I think it'll be more fun to watch that game. For Cubs fans, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm watching that game.
TiVo. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's even still a thing.
I don't think they do that anymore.
I don't think so.
TiVo was taken over by literally every other cable company and streaming.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have time to watch recordings. I'm just going to go watch Stranger Things.
Exactly. Yeah, but you can watch a whole bunch of Stranger Things at once.
That's true. So yeah, both Saturday night games should be fun. If you go on, so I'll post it to our Instagram as well. The nationally televised games that you guys can watch this week. So Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There are 8 games you can pick from. Overall, I think most of them are going to be good games. So
maybe the A's and the Royals. That'd be a good one to warm your. Keep your
A's and Royals.
Not the A's. No, it's the Jays and the Royals.
Yeah, I mean that's not bad. The Jays are These are a good team.
And the Royals are also absolutely trash, per the usual.
I mean, I think it could be fun to see a lot of home runs.
Same with the Cubs and Yankees. Tune in.
Yeah, you're true. So let's actually come home and hit home plate. So I think we changed it last week. And last week, weeks before, it was always about hometown sports team. And as we've noted, there's not a lot to talk about. Not a lot of Chicago sports teams are doing well. So it's kind of hard to just always have a time of ragging. So, what's something you're going to be doing this upcoming week that you're excited for?
Actually, I lied. Well, I didn't. I did and didn't. I'm
Ooh,
probably not going to be able to watch the Cubs Yankees, so I will have to
what is that?
TiVo that. I think Kendra and I are going to go to the Nashville SC match this Saturday, so that would be fun. I think it's at night though. Let me see.
Yeah, I have to get you those tickets for the games that I got you tickets for.
Oh yeah, no, we got tickets. We got them here.
Well, no, the Nashville SC, you have to have digital tickets.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay,
It's a
yeah,
weird. I don't know. It's a weird
7 o'clock.
thing.
Yeah, that is weird. But yeah, they're playing 7 o'clock
Yeah.
Saturday, so that'll be a lot of fun though.
Boo.
I just
Yeah.
don't know if we're going to sit in the fan section again, because I love the fan section. It's a ton of fun, but it requires some dedication. Like, you are on your feet because there's no seating, and you have to be like yelling. Dude, I lost my voice for almost a week after the match we went to, dude. Ton of fun. I love the fan section, but we might actually want to sit down for some of it. So maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it'll be fun. Yeah. What are you gonna be up to, man?
Still doing physical therapy treatment for whatever, so it's pretty much all consuming. Um, the one thing I'm looking forward to, and this is, if Ben was on here, I feel like we talked about this, but uh, starting again as this will air on a Wednesday. The day you hear this, watch this. The new Marvel show will be live on Disney Plus to watch. It's Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel it's one of the first comic books I've read from Marvel. I read like a lot of Captain America, but Miss Marvel, I've read most, if not, all of her standalone comics. I've read all of them. I think so. I'm excited. I don't care if they change stuff. I know people are going to be butthurt about like little changes they make about her powers or whatever.
Sure.
It's a Marvel TV show. I don't care. It's going to be fun. It's going to be. I think it'll be a good mix of what people like casual Marvel fans will like to watch, and
Cool.
and then also it's gonna. I think it's gonna play for the people who are comic book fans. I think will be good. So that's one of those shows where I actually know the character pretty well.
So that's going to be a pretty cool like adventure for you then, because like you said, you're actually familiar with the stories and the character. I think that's going to be really neat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those fans like Marvel. I love Marvel. I wouldn't say I'm a Star Wars like fanatic, but I'm a Star Wars fan. But man, the amount of people that are just like nitpicky nonsense about
Dude, Star Wars fans are really good at that. Nobody's ever happy. Like, you can't the whole population of Star Wars fans. They're like, it's almost like it's almost guaranteed when one of the new movies comes out, people are gonna be like, it was trash. I hated it. And you're like, why did you hate it? It was fun. It was well made. How can you hate that? It was like, they should have done this, they should have done that. It's like, all right, bro, well, how about you go to school and, I don't know, try out for the team?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's again, yeah, people are like that for Marvel and Star Wars. So anyone who's listening, watching, if you have not seen Doctor Strange, the new one that came out, I think even if you're not a comic book fan, I think you would enjoy it for what it is. If you are a comic book fan, that movie was a comic book brought to life. Like it was how I can talk about this for an hour, but the way the overall structure of it was what a comic book series is. You have a main character, you have an added new character, you have a clear bad guy. There's a bunch of fights. They travel, they do all this kind of stuff. You have all these elements added. You have worlds are introduced, and people are not a big fan of it. But if you have not seen it, I think you should enjoy it. I think it's a great movie. I don't think it's a top 10 Marvel movie, but I think it's very close.
You think so? Really?
Because I'm a comic book reader.
Got it. But
if you are not a comic book reader, I understand that not being like great.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't the best.
But it was Marvel movie.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So
it was still fun though. It was fun.
Yeah. So Miss Marvel, I'm looking forward to, because I'm not going to be one of those people that's gonna. Oh, that's not how it works. It's a different thing.
That's cool.
It's a TV show.
Keeping an open mind. Good.
I'm trying not to be a D-bag. trying. Let's see if that goes well. So, but yeah, so every day, like every moment. Yeah, for sure. That's actually going to wrap up episode 25 of the On Family Based podcast. Again, my name is Jake.
And I am Dallas.
And we'll be back next week. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok. If you are watching this, subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening, subscribe wherever you're listening. So thank you for listening, watching, and we'll be back this time next week.
Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.